Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahak Radash. Double honors to the elder apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, for teaching his word in truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, and peace and salutations to the sincere Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity to USA Shalom. Proverbs 16:4. Yahweh have made all things for himself. Yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. The wickedest of the wicked, Esau, Edom, and these heathen nations. They don't know that the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has set them up. You know, he knows all, he sees all, and he's created all this. All that we see is the work of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You know, if you look at it as a courtroom, the Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has basically is building a case against Esau, Edom, and the heathen nations. And this case is being built daily. Evidence daily is being presented that these people are not fit to rule, and it's displaying all the wickedness that they, that they do on the planet. So he's created all these things for himself. It's to show his people, the elect remnant. This is basically a wicked world, and that this is how you go about not ruling. So when he sets his elect up to govern this planet in righteousness, his elect will know how to rule in righteousness according to the scriptures, according to the Bible, according to his laws, statutes, and commandments. But that's also why we have to be changed, man. According to 2 Corinthians, like, we have to be changed, man, in order to not go off. So he's gonna give his elect new bodies and a perfect mind, a mind that won't be able to go off. So we'll be able to rule these, rule the world and judge all things righteously and according to the laws. Right now we're witnessing and experiencing how the wicked rule and how they are double-minded. They'll create laws, they'll create rules, and then break them, to fit their own narrative, to fit their own, to fit their own situations. So this is Job. I'm gonna roughly paraphrase it. Job, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And we all know who this wicked, who the wicked is. We all know who this wicked man is. And he's so wicked that he has the heathen nations abiding in his wickedness, trying to outdo his wickedness. They've even conformed to his wickedness. He has 2/3 of our people just as wicked, going about their daily lives according to his wicked ways. Our people are subjugated to this. Over time, it became, Stockholm syndrome, where, you've taken you've taken a liking. You kind of respect your oppressor, and you see that in many of our people. It's like, Babylon got this wicked spell over them, and Babylon had its spell over many of us, because you live that lie that that they project onto you. But when you come into the truth of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai and start to see the scriptures and how to live through the scriptures, you withdraw yourself from the ways of Babylon and from the ways of this wicked man. And then you start to see all the wickedness that they do on a daily basis, whether it's them stupid ass chemtrails, you know, where they drop in chemicals, and it's inducing certain weather patterns, when you go into like geoengineering and how they are manipulating weather. It's dropping chemicals and metals and plastics on the crops, in the water. Everything here is defiled, and it's all done by purpose, man. These people are actually trying to reduce the population to a certain number, but it's a number that they know they can control, So these people are the wicked, and the head of them is Amalek, your so-called, so-called Jew, small hat, tiny top, whatever you want to call them. These people are the head. They're at the top of the food chain. These are your top elite bankers. These are these people that run all these different Fortune 500 companies, and their whole job is to subdue the people. Make them abide, make them, make them conform. This is Psalms 10 and verse 2. The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. So the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is gonna destroy this place, and he's gonna put these people back in their rightful place at the bottom, because they're not designed, they're not fit to rule. The devices that they come up with, the things that they imagine, the quote unquote better the people, help the people, it's all in efforts to destroy. It's not an efforts to raise up and help you grow productively, healthy, and prosper in this place. This place is a place of doom. It's a place of death. Whether you're talking about that pharmaceuticals, they don't make medicine to cure you. They make medicine just to keep you coming back, keep you alive long enough to suck all your money out you, all your resources out of you. They use the insurance and to peddle money out of you to benefit, to benefit and line their pockets. This is verse 3. For the wicked boast in his heart's desire, and the blessed the covetous, whom the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai abhorreth. The Lord don't condone this activities, these activities. But they weren't given the blessing, they weren't given the promise. So their whole thing is to, destroy as much as they can. Their blessing was the sword, and that's how they rule. They rule with the sword, and the sword is coming in various likelinesses. Depending on what's going on, it's gonna look different. So if you sick and you need to take medicine, They've made you sick through the foods, through the chemicals, through the water. Now they hit you with these bullshit drugs, bullshit medicines to only make you feel better, you know, not to cure, but to just make you feel better. So you can go on and whatever's going on with you is just gonna get progressively worse. You know, these are devices that they create to subdue the people, to control the people. Another weapon could be the, you know what I'm saying, is the mainstream media. That's a weapon because it doesn't give you facts. It's lined with lies and deceit, and then you have to go to an outside source, which is, you know, it might have lies and deceit in it too, but you have to try to like put the two together and try to formulate the truth out of it. You know, you gotta try to cipher the truth out of so many different resources because they just don't give you the truth. You know, they have so many different devices and weapons that control the minds of the people that they will eventually just, you know, pretty much destroy the earth if the Lord doesn't intervene. You know, they'll wipe out so many people, you know, just so they can have the fatness of the earth. This is verse 4, Psalms 10 and 4. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after power. Powers is not in all his thoughts. These people don't think about the Most High. You know, they actually condemn the Most High because they done made up a whole new image, a whole different deity. They've made up so many different doctrines, you know, to fit their narrative. And then when you talk about the elites, they don't believe in Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. They know of him, but they don't abide in them. They don't want to live through his laws and statutes and commandments, you know, because they pray to Baal, you know, and sacrifice their children to Molech. So these people is dealing with the Lord on the left hand side, or the left hand side is like the Lord is dealing with these people on the left hand side, you know. And you can see it in their actions, man. These people don't these people don't have no love for the powers. They don't have no love for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You know, they only love themselves. You know what I'm saying? And what they can get out of the people and out of the earth. You know, they drain the earth of all its natural resources. You know, but this is a wicked place, and you're seeing the downfall of it. Slowly but surely, the Most High, brick by brick, is pulling this kingdom down. And they know it. They see it. That's why they're doing everything in their power to push this digital system forward. You know, the infrastructure is already there, and all it takes is, you know what I'm saying, is just one event, man, to make this thing, you know, come to fruition where they're gonna start bagging and tagging people, man. They're gonna put you in a concentration camp, or they're gonna force that MOTB on you in some form or fashion. You know, whether it's through famine, pestilence, you know, just straight up fear. Because when you can't feed your family, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna take that shit. You know, a lot of people gonna take it, man. If you're not grounded and rooted in the scriptures, and you're not waiting on the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to deliver you out of this. You know what I'm saying? Then that's only if you're part of the elect. You know, first fruit spirits. That's the only thing you can hope and you can just hope and pray that you part of that. You know what I'm saying? Part of that number, because the days are gonna get dark. Like, they about to make people go through a new registration for their snaps, for their little snap benefits. So, you know, famine is on the way. You know what I'm saying? Literal famine and famine of the word, because they're looking to control the media in all aspects. You know, because people are starting to wake up to that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? They starting to see through their bullshit. They starting to see through their lies. And we all, everybody on the planet can see that those people that's residing in the land are not the people of promise. They are not the chosen people of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. You know. So as we move forward, every day through Babylon, man, it's just you just witnessing you witnessing his downfall, man. You know, Nero T is out of his mind. You know, but that's the Lord working that spirit. You know what I'm saying? Put that spirit on him, man. He doing the Lord's work without even knowing it, man. He doing it on the left hand side, making prophecies, fulfill itself. You got all these nations. They're starting to hate the whore, man. You got these different Hamite nations or Hamite countries, they're banding together with the BRICS. There's only a few Hamite nations that's not aligned with the BRICS yet. You got China aligned with the BRICS. North Korea is aligned with the BRICS. Iran, what I'm saying, Elam, India, East India, what I'm saying, and East Indians, they all align with the BRICS. So we're like we're like one bad move, if you could call it that, one bad move away from all out war, World War III. And then, what I'm saying, in the midst of that, you're gonna have that MOTB. And they're gonna push that heavy. You know what I'm saying? They crashing the dollar. So we're witnessing the downfall of Esau Edom. We're witnessing the downfall of Babylon the Great. And it's to their own doing, man. Even though they don't have no say in the matter, the Most High, He controls all. He gonna make you do His will. You think you have free will. You think you're doing this on your own. You think you move about this planet on your own, but you don't. It's the Most High that moves you. It's the Most High that controls your thoughts and your actions. This is 1 Timothy. Salakia. This is 1 Timothy, for 1 Timothy 6, and I'm going to read verses 17 through 20. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living powers, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. So, they believe in their own, the wealthiest of the wealthy. They believe in their own doings. They believe in their own power, that they do it on their own. Whether they get that power from the left-hand side, by dealing in witchcraft and sorcery. They abiding in their riches. They abide in the things that, quote unquote, they make manifest. So they sit up on their high horse, thinking that they the ones that's pushing the buttons, that they can control something, But at the end of the day, this is all the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, whether it's dealing on the righteous hand, which is the right hand, or the wicked, you know what I'm saying? Or dealing with his left hand, dealing with Satan on the left hand side. This is all controlled by the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And that's something that these people don't realize. while they're enjoying the fatness of the earth, by trying to subdue the people and living off their hard work, their sweat, their money. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh just setting them up, man. They set them up for that great day of the Lord, man. And that day, man, he's gonna shed a lot of blood, man. A lot of bloodshed gonna be is gonna happen, Verse 18. Matter of fact, I'll read 17 again. Change them that are rich in this world, or charge them, Salakia, charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy. That they do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. Verse 19. Lying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may be Salakia, that they may lay hold on eternal life. So, that's something that you have to understand, that these people are not grounded in that. They don't work on that side. So what you have to do is build your foundation with the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Learn his doctrine, learn his ways, abide in the scriptures, live through the scriptures. Try to uphold the Lord's statutes and commandments to the best of your ability before the Lord comes back, man. Because this grace period is not gonna last forever. And while the wicked is working diligently, to subdue you, you have to be focused. You have to be you have to have you have to have that laser focus on the Lord. You have to meditate and pray to the Lord consistently. Build that relationship with Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because famine of food and the word is coming, and you could see it coming. You just don't know when, but you see it coming, because this is all they talk about. It's about limiting freedom of speech. You're not gonna be able to just go out. You're not gonna be able to just get up and say what you want, or say what you feel, say what's right. So that time is coming, man, where if you haven't abided in sound doctrine, you won't have it at your access, and if you haven't studied the scriptures and know the time that you're in, you're gonna be subdued by this, by the wicked. You're gonna be subdued by the devil. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the devil. He is the wicked that the Bible speak of. He has the spirit of Satan on him, and these people will stop at nothing. To make you part of their, make you part of them. Make you their property. Once you take that MOTB, once you put that C-hip in you, man, you their property, man. You no longer a property of the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And many of our people still dwell in that plantation Christianity. Many of our people, they're caught up in the world to the point where they just don't see this day coming. They think this place is gonna last forever. Even the Edomites see that. Even the Edomites see that the day is coming. And they starting to see, and they starting to feel it. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh, thy powers, will put all these curses upon thine enemy and on them that hate thee, which persecuteth thee. So we're witnessing here in Babylon, we're starting to see the reversal of the curses. You know what I'm saying? All those Edomites that had some wicked way in dealing with us. You know what I'm saying? Even if they didn't, you're starting to see the curses reversed. You know, they getting manhandled by their own Esau when Esau hates Esau. You starting to see Esau coming down with great wrath on his own people. You know, people who took pleasures in, the benefit of this place, being an Edomite, being so-called white. That shit don't hold no weight no more, man. You starting to fall upon the same things that stricken us. You can't afford that house. You can't afford that car. You can't afford to buy that steak that you want. You know. So even the wicked is subduing the wicked. You know, he's coming down with great wrath on his own people. So this place is doomed, man. We're witnessing the downfall of Babylon. This is Obadiah, and I'm going to read verses 6 through 8. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Through this internet, you know. That's why they want to shut it down. And through the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, his spirit on the men of GMS to go out there and pretty much deliver his message. You know, dividing the word, rightfully dividing the word of truth. You know, and delivering his message to the people, his people. So what you it's cool to watch though, because you have a lot of scoffers and scorners. They just, they caught up in their own nonsense and in their own madness. And when that day come, they're gonna realize that, that the men of GMS had that truth. They was able to, they had that spirit on them. The Holy Spirit was on them so they could see those scriptures for what it was and go out there and prophesy the downfall of Babylon and the captivity of Esau, Edom, and them heathen nations. This is verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in them, or no understanding in none understanding. There is none understanding in him. So all these different nations, man, they see who you are. They see you for what you know what I'm saying, for the wicked person that you are, for the wicked people that you are. And that you deceive, you lie, you rape, you rob, you murder to get what you want. And if you might speak peacefully, but when peaceful words aren't heard or are not abided in, if when they speak peacefully, if you don't conform right away, they're gonna hit you with the violence, man. Undaunting, violence. That's all they do throughout history. So this is the funny thing about the scriptures and how the Lord works. He's blinded a lot of people because if you understand just certain scriptures, you see who this person is. You see who these people are. You see who the wicked is. throughout history, their whole thing has been based off violence. You know, their whole thing has been based off of raping and robbing and murdering. This is verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? They don't see it, you know, and the Lord set it up that way, man. That's why, you know, you gotta give all praises to the Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. You know, the Most High Yahweh for allowing his only begotten Son Yahweh Shai to be a sacrifice for our iniquities, for our sins. You know, to be that sacrificial lamb, to spill that blood for us. So those who don't come back into the fold, man, you know, those sheep that just stay lost, you're gonna recognize and realize you know what I'm saying, your evilness, your wickedness when he returns. You know? And for Esau, Edom, he's just not going to ever see it. You know? It's not in him to see that. It's not in him to have understanding. His whole thing is to, you know, destroy the house of Jacob. From the time he didn't get that blessing, his whole intent was to destroy the house of Jacob. You know? But this is the Most High story, man. And he set it up in such a fashion, man, that is a beautiful thing to watch, man. It's scary at times. It's scary with knowing what can happen, knowing what will happen. But at the same time, when you rely on the scriptures and you have that faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahak Radash, when you have that faith, when you've built that bond to getting to know the Most High, it's a comfort that comes upon you. And to watch him work is like amazing, you know. To watch him flip this whole thing around, it's just amazing to watch. Because we're watching Esau actually scramble. You're watching him squirm. And the heathen nations are starting to take part. You know, they're starting to really play their roles. They're all coming together to ban against Esau. And it's just a matter of time, you know. It's just a matter of time before that one event happens. Whether they try to plan it through pestilence, you know, the world is watching. And everybody's starting to see who these people really are. And that the Lord ain't dealing with them, man. Not in a righteous manner. So it's only a matter of time before this whole thing crumbles right up underneath Esau's feet. And 2/3 of our people gonna get caught up in that. This is Isaiah 30:9. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh. That's 2/3 of our people. You know, they're going about their daily lives, living their best life here in Babylon. You know, trying to take the next selfie. You know, Jake women, they out there shaking their ass. You know, partaking in everything that's foul in this planet. You know, they've let Esau control their minds. They've been controlled by the devil, man. Eve been that way since the gardens. Talk about she was beguiled. We're witnessing Eve being beguiled here in Babylon. They think they have stake. They think they can make it on their own. But the Most High gonna prove them wrong. 2/3, you know, Jake men, part of that 2/3. They out here doing the same thing. chasing the next pair of Jordans, trying to buy a damn whatever fucking fancy car they can get their hands on, trying to they just trying to be part of this world, and it's all based off of wickedness. So they don't see it, they won't see it. If they haven't seen it by now, then most likely they're not going to see it. This is verse 10. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not. Prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. And that's pretty much what our people abide in, man. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to be spoke to like a parental figure. How a parental figure would speak to their children. They don't want to speak. They don't want you to speak to them like that. They want to be talking to all smooth, the way these clowns are in them churches. They don't want you to prophesy about the downfall of Babylon. They want to hear that. They want to hear that God loves everybody doctrine. They want to hear that silly ass rapture doctrine. They want to abide in everything but the true word of the Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So I'll read verse 9 again. It's Isaiah 30:9. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh. Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. And that goes back, that go back decades. Our people rather hear lies than to hear the truth. They rather hear lies dressed up as the truth than the actual truth itself. They say the truth is harsh, but give me harsh truth. Don't give me no lies. I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be deceived. I want to know I want to know what it is. But many of our people, they like to dwell in fantasy. They like to dwell in fiction and fairy tales. They don't want to deal with hardship. But shit, you live hardship every day. Knowing is half the battle. Knowing what's to come, whether it's good or bad, it's better not to know at all. But our people don't see it that way. They rather live. They rather live with their heads between their tails. Head between their legs. Head buried in the ground. This is verse 11. Get out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. So when you go back to verse 10, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. Get out of the way, turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. See, they don't want they don't want to be dealt with righteously. They don't want to live a righteous life. They just want they want to continue in the monotony of this cruel world, man, in this wicked world. Everything is free flowing and just unrighteous, man. You know what I'm saying? They'd rather be dealt with unrighteously. So I guess to have something to talk about when they go home, have something to talk about when they get around their peoples. But this place is sickening, because when you realize what our culture is, what our inheritance is, our direct link to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. When you know our direct link to the Most High, it should make you wanna, stand upright. You know, it should make you want to deal righteously. You know, you would want to leave this wicked place and get back to a place of purity. You know, you would want the Lord to set us back up in our rightful position on the planet, which is kings on the earth. We rule, you know, we was set up to rule this place, to rule it in righteousness. But we have to go through these dark days of being in Babylon to see how not to rule, to see how to be fit, how to be righteous in all our dealings. But our people don't want that, man. They just want to continue to live, wickedly. Verse 12, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and truth and oppression and perverseness, and stay therein. So our people want to stay in this position. They don't want to be upright. They don't want to be in the ruler seat. You know, they will. Yeah, the verse is telling you that these people, 2/3 of our people, want to be dealt with in this fashion. They want to live like this. They want to be in poverty. They talk like they say, oh, we were kings, but you want to be in poverty. You want to be second-class citizens, quote unquote, to these heathens. You know, you want to be dealt with foul, like, and then I guess that's something. Like I said, I guess that's something you have. That's something you'll have to talk about, you know, in your minuscule life. But to hell with Babylon, man. Bring on the kingdom where we can be put back into our rightful position on this planet, man. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 4. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. So these days that are coming, man, it's gonna get real wicked out here, and it's gonna get so wicked, man. It's gonna be things that we have never seen before, like things that have never, like all these different kingdoms of wickedness from the past are right here in Babylon the Great. It represents Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great is the revival of the Roman Empire, but all those wicked kingdoms that ruled before Rome are right here. Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, Babylon. The way Persians and the Medes, all these different kingdoms are right here rolled up into one nasty, wicked kingdom known as Babylon the Great, the revival of the revival of the Roman Empire. So when these dark days come, man, if the scriptures tell you, trust in him, trust in Yahweh Shai, trust in your Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, trust in the things that you've learned, and be grounded, be rooted. Use the scriptures as the comforter. Use the scriptures as your comfort. Knowing that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is coming to take this place out and set us back up in our rightful position. So we can't be squeamish. We can't, we can't be scared of what's to come, man. Even though, fear may resonate, but it can't control you. This is verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. This whole thing is going to crumble, man. You know, and we can't be deceived by all the nonsense that's going to come out in those days. You know, there's going to be false Hamashiachs. You know, there's going to be calamities. You know, we're going to see things that we have never seen before. You know, especially when famine and pestilence hit. You know, there's going to be some dark days. You're going to see people collapsing right in front of you. You're going to see people out there wilding out. You know, killing each other for one can of peaches. You know, you're going to see people eating each other. That's how crazy it's going to be when famine hit and and there's no food available. And if they hit you with that MOTB and you can't buy nothing, you're going to see people eating each other, man. That's how crazy it's going to be. You're going to see people killing each other just for the, you know what I'm saying, for 2 grains of rice. You're going to see people out here just doing that shit just to be doing it. You know, people who love who love violence. You're going to see people out here just committing violence just because they love that shit. Like, it's going to be dark days coming to Babylon the Great. And we have to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's people have to be prepared, you know, grounded in scripture. With laser-like focus on, you know what I'm saying, on the kingdom to come. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua delivering his elect out of this madness. That's what you hope and pray for. That's why you hope and pray that you're part of that elect, so you can be delivered out of this madness when it actually comes. This is verse 4. Like the Salaki, the man of addition, that's Esau Edom, man. That's the devil himself. You know what I'm saying? And he will stop at nothing to bring all this shit to fruition. You know, just so he can portray himself as God. You know what I'm saying? So you can come running to him for relief. That's how he wield his power, man. He wield his power in trying to subdue you. You know, mentally, emotionally, then physically. Verse 4. Who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called powers, or that is worshipped, so that he as power sitteth in the temple of power, showing himself that he is powers. And that's his whole agenda, man. It's for you to come running to him for quote unquote salvation, for rescue. You know, he wants you to rely on him for all that you need, want, and desire. That's why this man got to be taken out, man. That's why the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. You know, in the book of Matthew, that's his future, man. That's why it's imperative that we keep praying, exalting the name, the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you know, magnifying his name, and trying to uphold the Lord's statute and commandments to the best of our abilities, man. We need the Lord to come back and, you know what I'm saying, and destroy this place. You know, the same way he delivered us out of Egypt is how he's going to deliver us out of this place. You know, it's by exalting his name. You know what I'm saying? Praying for the downfall of this place. You know, take Esau Edom out of the ruling seat, because he is only a base man. He is the base man that the Bible speaks of. He is that low man on the totem pole. He is the savage, the scavenger of the earth. But he was given a time to rule, man. He's definitely doing what he, you know what I'm saying, what he was, you know what I'm saying, what he was set up to do. You know, his yoke is upon all the earth, and he's trying to subdue everybody. But the Lord didn't write it so he can live, you know what I'm saying, that he's going to rule forever. So this dude is going, Esau going down. And we got to keep praying that it happens. You know what I'm saying? Beg the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to take this motherfucker out. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakahak Radash, Abad Babal.